Hello there, people of the internet. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing alright, thanks for asking. This right here is one of those Henry survival rifles. You guys have seen this on the YouTube channel before a couple of times now. This is one of those that takes down and breaks apart and everything kind of fits into the stock. And this right here is the only takedown rifle that I have with me, and I want to go ahead and talk about the concept of takedown firearms. I actually had a young man down at a gun store. He came across one of those old takedown lever action rifles to where the magazine tube unscrews and then the barrel comes off, and then you have a lever action that's completely disassembled. And he had no idea what the purpose of that was. He was absolutely like thrown off guard by that, because I guess lever actions are not something that you commonly see taken down nowadays. It was just a really unusual little piece of new information for him. But since he was so confused about that, I figured that there's probably other people out there who are just as confused about takedown firearms. So let's go ahead and make a little video. This probably won't be a very long one, talking about takedown firearms, what they are and why they exist. One of the reasons why he was so confused is because if you have this lever action and you take it down, break it in half, and you have those two pieces of that lever action, they still take up the same amount of surface area because they're the same amount of surface area, right? Just because it's in two different pieces does not mean that it takes up less space. But that's how it is in like a physical standpoint, but that's not necessarily how it is in a practical standpoint. Whenever you have a nice long piece of equipment, something like that is a lot more difficult to store than two much smaller pieces of equipment, even if they take up the same amount of storage space. Like, for example, with this .22 long rifle, with this nice long barrel sticking out the end, a nice long stock sticking off the end, the best way to be able to travel around with this thing is to, well, break the size in half. In the particular case of this .22 long rifle takedown rifle, the barrel unscrews right here and comes off. Uno momento, por favor. It sure has a lot of threading on it, more than I remember. But this comes off, and now I can fit, although it takes up the same amount of surface area, now I can fit this firearm in a much more compact area. As a matter of fact, not only does the barrel come off, but the receiver right here comes off as well. There's a little wing nut right here. I keep smacking my camera. I apologize for that, but hopefully my point is still getting across here. There's a little wing nut right here that unscrews, and this right here should come off whenever this is done unscrewing. This thing takes a straight second. There we go. And then all of this right here, normally on a normal takedown firearm, would take up significantly less space than if it was inside of its whole already put together position, with lack of better terminology there. If it was already put together, I would have to find some sort of carrying case that could match the length of it. But with this right here and how small and compact this now is, I could fit this same amount of material inside of like a book bag or something like that. However, the Henry takedown rifle here is actually a little bit more clever, because you can decrease the amount of surface area that this right here is taking up by simply putting these things inside of the stock of the firearm. And with these inside of the stock of the firearm, now you only have the surface area of the stock. As a matter of fact, this right here is a firearm that I use as a backpack rifle, because this entire thing fits simply into my backpack. I even have another magazine here that does go and fit into the back of the buttstock. This is a really good, easy way to get a nice compact system and a very capable system. Now, some people have told me that things like this are completely worthless and useless, because here inside the United States, we are allowed to have these. This is a handgun. This right here is, in this particular case, is a 1911. I've actually got a couple of handguns over here. This is a Star Model BM, kind of a 1911 look-alike, a 9mm. Long story short, this 1911 and 45 ACP is dramatically more compact than our .22 long rifle breakdown rifle there. So if you wanted a firearm that was more compact than a full-length, already put-together rifle, why not just use yourself a handgun? Well, here inside the United States, we can't have stocks on our handguns. It's against the law for whatever reason. We'll see how long that law stays in place with everything we have going on legally. But we can't have stocks on a rifle, and you need a stock on your firearm in order to increase stability. That stock being able to rest against your shoulder and your ability to rest your cheek on said stock and have both your hands on that firearm dramatically increases your the surface area that you have on the firearm, and thus increasing your stability and capabilities with that firearm. So, what do? Instead of using handguns, we use some sort of rifle. And if we want a rifle that is nice and compact, that can fit in some very small spaces, we would go ahead and use ourselves some sort of takedown, breakdown rifle. Of course, even with the takedown rifles, they still have to be a certain length, because in the United States, a rifle barrel cannot be below 16 inches for federal law. And we'll see how long that law stays in place. We have a lot of really good things going on, legally speaking. And this right here, the short barrel law, is something that does not need to exist because we have handguns. Originally, it was introduced because the United States was trying to get rid of handguns for civilian ownership back in the 1930s. Handguns are still here, but the law did pass, and now we have this stupid law to where rifles cannot be a certain length and handguns can't have stocks. And it's just a whole mishmash of nonsense going on with that. But that's one of the main reasons why a lot of companies try to push some sort of a takedown firearm, specifically for people who want to have the firearm that they can fit in their book bag, or that they can fit in a glove box, or that insert your choice of needing a firearm to fit in a compact space, but you still want, to have a stocked firearm that can touch out to greater distances and have greater stability than a handgun. That's probably one of the biggest reasons why we would have ourselves a breakdown rifle like this. So this right here, like I said, is a short video. Hopefully you guys learned something, though. I imagine that this audience that I'm currently preaching to, you guys probably already knew that, but if somebody asks, now you have a video to go ahead and send them for reference. So all this being said, thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day, and I will see you guys on the next episode.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.